forums about that particular issue, and it never completed. And then the laptop died. So,
Oh,
so the link that I shared with y'all, I think is nothing at this point.
okay. We I managed to start recording already. About
Awesome.
23 seconds worth.
Hey Lee.
Hello.
Hi. Excellent. We're hearing everybody loud and clear. I hope so. I mean, Google didn't host anything on AWS, right?
No, I didn't see anything.
Cool. Oh, what was that name of that backup plugin?
Updraft Plus.
Updraft Plus. Cool.
Right. Did we want to? Did you want me to go ahead and start doing a demo of it?
Yeah, do it. Sorry. I'm reading it now. It says backup and restore. Take backups locally or backup to Amazon S3.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Give me a second to get my screen share here, and I'll try to do at least a half-ass job of demoing this.
Sounds good. By the way, the hat looks so badass on you.
So
Jealous.
Oh wait, hold on.
I have no excuse for having bedhead this late in the evening, but I do have a hat, so that's the.
Wait, hold on.
Oh, that's awesome.
How's this?
It looks like Bob Dylan's hat from the Rolling Thunder review.
Oh yeah.
Tour.
You know this is not even fair. I'm gonna have to go get mine.
You go get it. Yeah, come on, everybody.
Yeah, how's that?
Oh, that's beautiful. This has just turned into the best.
That doesn't count.
Ever.
Oh come on, it does count. I went there.
That is awesome. Okay. Now that we all have our demo hats on, let me see if I can.
All right, demo hats.
If I could.
Yeah, this is being recorded. I'm uploading this. Yeah, definitely. We're gonna upload this
Yes.
to.
Oh, absolutely.
I see it. It's on my screen, and that's great.
Okay. So this is. I'm just going to go from what. This is the starting point is when you log in to WordPress. So the plugin's already been installed and activated, and I ran a manual backup, and by now there should have been a couple of automatics. So in order to access the settings for Updraft Plus, you go to Settings, Updraft.
I'm not seeing anything. Is it showing?
Is it possible that it's a bandwidth issue? Are you not seeing me at all? Is it like a picture of my face, or I can't see the screen while I'm doing this?
I'm just seeing your face.
And it's just a picture, or is it frozen on like what I look like right now?
Lee, it could be frozen. I do see it on my end, and it is being recorded.
I'm gonna try. Hopefully that will work itself out. I'm gonna try to move on with it, and if I would say worst case scenario is that we can watch the video that's uploaded later.
Okay. I'll mute myself. See if that'll cut down on the bandwidth.
Okay, so once the plugin was installed, like I said, you go to Settings, Updraft Plus Backups, and then there's a tab here for Settings. And the main changes I made were for file and database backup, I set to daily, so that we'll have a daily backup that's run. And these retain this many scheduled backups was originally set to 2, and I changed that to 3 just to have a few more backups. We may actually there's a bit of a space issue because right now the backups are about, I think they're a little over a gig a piece, which is actually kind of unreasonable. There's some things we may need to do to address that. Okay, so like William had mentioned, you had the option of backing up to some sort of a remote storage. The free plugin that we're using will let you back up to one of these. The paid plugin allows you to back up to multiple of them at a time. If you don't choose anything, it actually just backs up to the local web space. which is how we're doing it now. It works fine for our setup because it's a shared web hosting situation where they actually handle their own backups and failovers. If we were hosting our own web server, we would definitely want to back up to one of these services or a remote location. Just in case that server went down, we wouldn't want to lose the backups as well. On this screen here, the only other setting is I went ahead and put a checkbox to send a report to info@wikispeed.com.
Awesome.
Eventually, we may turn that off, but for now, I wanted to see if it was working, and that's probably the easiest way to actually have someone alerted without having to log in. There was one other setting. I don't know if this is going to work under expert settings that I tried, because the first manual backup I tried to run just kept resetting and trying again. So the default here on split archives basically is creating separate zip files. Was originally set to 400 megabytes, and it seems like on a shared hosting that you kind of the bandwidth is a little volatile. So the recommendation was to cut those down into smaller pieces, and I did see after some time that the backup did complete. So it seems like that is all working as it should.
Okay.
The only other thing about that is under current status, if you do want to run a manual backup, you would just hit backup now. Of course, you have the option to restore and to clone or migrate to another site. The clone migrate option, I am not positive right now. I thought I saw mention that may be only available in the premium.
Okay.
But the fact that the button's available is interesting. So that's something that maybe we need to test in the future.
Okay.
Other than that, so the normal procedure, if you wanted, so that's it for the Updraft Plus backup configuration. The normal procedure, if you want when it's time to run updates on the site, is you would go ahead and run a manual backup. I'm not going to do that right now because the backup just ran not so long ago, and there hasn't been any changes, and I don't want to have to wait on this video.
Copy.
Anyway for the backup to run. But once the backup is completed, the easiest thing, so you can see here we have like plugins here say that there's 23 that need to be updated. But if you go to the top of the this bar on the dashboard, I guess the admin bar,
Right.
This is will allow you to update everything. So as I mouse over it, I'm not sure if you can see this, but it tells me there's one WordPress update. So we're a version behind on the WordPress instant. We have 23 plugins and 5 theme updates. So you click on that, which will take a second. While we're waiting, I'll mention that Updraft Plus also makes a database cleaning tool that basically goes through and shrinks your database by removing deleted items and things like that, which may be something that can help with the trying to optimize the site. So typically, what I would do here, I would start with if a WordPress update's available, I would start with that. I'm going to go ahead and do that now. We'll see. I'm not sure how long it'll take, so I'm not sure if we'll actually complete this process on this demo or not.
Okay.
Let me go back up. But so basically, I would do that, and then I would come back in to the update area, and then I would select all and update all the plugins. Sometimes one or two may not update in that big cluster, and you have to do them. You have to pick them again. It just has to do with how it's batched, and some updates require their own little process. And then down at the bottom you can see the themes, and we can just update the same, select all, and update themes. So now I'm going to go ahead and start the WordPress update, which I believe puts the site into maintenance mode. So this is actually may make the site unavailable to end users temporarily. I don't think the plugins and the themes do that, but I think that updating the WordPress version does.
Cool.
It says waiting on my end, so we'll see how long this takes.
Yeah, I haven't been able to see any of your presentation.
Sorry.
bit, and then
Sorry to hear
it
that, Lee.
froze.
Okay. It's actually right now. It's waiting to do this update. So again, I think that you should be able to review the demo video and see the steps. I believe if William's seeing it, then we definitely we'll have something that goes along with my narrative here. Not this is on the update. Okay, so there it goes. Okay, so actually the update just completed on that, and now we have more updates available, so let's see what's going on with that. And I just kind of skipped over that, but when you update WordPress, there's a page that comes up that tells you about the new features and things. That'll still be available when you log in. Okay, so we've updated to the latest version of WordPress. And it says that future security updates will be applied automatically. I didn't actually see that as a selection box, but I'm also okay with that now that we have automatic backups running. Okay, so we can move on to the next step here. I'll go ahead and select all for update plugins. And we'll probably wait again for a brief amount of time here.
That update was pretty fast, actually.
Yeah, not too bad. And, you know, I always get to where I'm like, what's going? Like, it's not showing me anything right now. So I'm like, did I break it? But it's working in the background. That would actually, from a user perspective, would be nicer if there was. I mean, I don't even need a status bar. I just need like something that says, "Wait a minute," or you know, things are happening in the background. The only indication, of course, that I have on my screen right now, I don't know how well you can see my mouse at all, but is that the browser says that it's thinking.
Yeah, the spinning
over there, that it's loading a page, right? And of course, this process is unpredictable on how long it's going to take. It has to do with how many plugins need to be updated, which plugins need to be updated, and how big those updates are at any given time. It's been a while since it's been run. Normally, it does not take very long, but I've never actually let it get up to 25 plugins needs to be updated at the same time.
So it's a record. Plus, you're also in a video conference and screen sharing, so that's a lot.
Right, exactly. Well, this process actually this is happening on the web server, so
right.
That shouldn't affect the speed of the actual updates at all.
No, but the UI version of it, the visualization of
true.
it, yeah.
Yes. I don't know how long we should set on a time limit to wait for this. I mean, so the next step after this is done is, of course, to update the themes. It's the exact same process as this. Did y'all want to wait and watch that, or did we want to move on to something else and have some Q&A discussion or anything that y'all wanted to demo?
Well,
Yeah.
I still can't see anything, so.
Oh, right.
Whatever you want to do.
That is a bummer, Lee. I'm sure this is not a very interesting
know.
from your end.
I've tried, I've been trying to adjust my bandwidth and everything and close down everything else, but.
Well, I can't see you right now because I've got this screen pulled up, but one thing that I've had to do when I have low bandwidth issues is, oh, that's good, control. It actually timed out on me. Is to turn off your camera sometimes will actually help. Let's go back and see what's going on. Okay, so this looks scary, but it's not that bad. It's actually updating in the background. And, so I don't know how long this process will take. We can go ahead and move on.
Okay.
Right now, so end users are definitely seeing this as well, but it's just basically that the UI is only going to wait so long to tell me what's going on. And say, hey, you know, it times out, and that's based on many factors. But so this is the mode it goes into. Once the updates are done, it will go back to normal operations. And I'm going to stop sharing the screen here, and I'll make sure when this process is done that I will update the themes as well.
Sounds good.
So we can actually move that story completely to done tonight.
Excellent. It sounds like there isn't any blocks. Is there any blocks, Chris?
I do not have any blocks. I think my blocks are maybe going to come in. I think are we planning on doing sprint planning at the end of the stand-up tomorrow? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So some of mine will probably come up then, just because I'm not sure the best way. What's next? And the best way to deal with optimizing the site. So I probably need to do a little bit of research on that. But other than that, for what we're completing right now, I do not have any plans.
I see. And Lee, you're getting the check back briefly on the Wikispeed WordPress backend?
Yeah, and I just sent it to you twice on accident. Sorry about that.
Oh, all good.
So yeah, when I go to wikispeed.org, that's what I'm getting.
Yep. That should
Yes,
be,
and that's
right.
I'm still getting that on mine. So it's in the process of updating those 30 plugins, which again could take some time.
Right. Right.
Cool. I think techies will know that, they're going down with routine maintenance. Is it AWS again? No, I'm just kidding. It would be something. And it's good that we're making improvements and making it work.
It's the middle of the night somewhere, right? So it was scheduled maintenance.
It's true. Oh, right. Eventually, you know what? I don't know yet. We'll discuss that tomorrow. If we want to put a button or a link or something easily accessible for people to join the stand-up, but I think there's some blocks because the stand-up only allocates and allows for, what was it, like 10 members?
Yeah, that's right. After 10, I'm not actually sure what happens at that point. It's I think they're added but not able to participate. They can only view after 10.
Right. And the interesting brainstorming session we had, or sprint planning we had with Agile Tier on Monday, was that when we do have meetings, we should think about what kind of meetings we want. Kind meaning, do we want the open meetings to all volunteers and members, and that's great. And then for perhaps the core team, the people that actually trying to push forward and with a lot of the higher sprint items, the non-buffer items, then let's keep that meeting for a specific allocation of the product owner meeting, like a meta scrum. So then it's not necessarily say, everybody's allowed to come to every meeting. Like, yes, they can. It's just currently right now we're at a cap due to a dependency on the free software that we're utilizing. So that
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And it's one of the for sprint review, you definitely want the stakeholders to be able to interact with you. It would be nice to actually have more than 10 people on one of these calls at some point, so we know exactly what happens. Because it may be that at that point people can only use the chat, or there's another way we can come up with them for them to give feedback. Because that's to me, most of the meetings, people just kind of viewing what's going on is a perfect situation.
Yeah.
But during sprint review is when you really want to get feedback from people that are not part of the core team, and that's when you're getting your stakeholder feedback. So that's when it's going to be most important for them to be able to interact with you.
Mm-hmm. True. Awesome. Well, thank you. Anything else you want to bring up, and then we're going to move on to Lee.
I think that's it for me.
Thank you, Chris. Lee, any blocks or anything that you're currently working on? Thank you for checking with your brother, your source.
The WordPress brother, yes.
The WordPress brother.
So, I will forward that email that I got from him with all the different plugin advice that he had.
Ooh, thank you.
I don't know if we want to go through that or not. Yeah. Like I said, I had to call him out on his copyright on his website.
Yeah.
Like copyright 2015. And I was like, Eric, really?
Whoops.
So,
it's probably
he might have been a little bit in the back end.
Yeah, lower priority item.
But he knew about updrafts, so you know.
When do those one?
So I'll go ahead and forward that to you, Chris, so you can go ahead and look through it and see if any of those plugins make any sense. And like he said, like a good thing to do is to get rid of a lot of the plugins that we're not using right now, because that frees up a lot of space. So, and sorry, I've been just like bombarded with other work stuff, so I haven't had a chance. Although I was all like, "Hey, let's meet up again."
No sorries needed.
And now
really.
I can like drop behind.
No sorries needed. This is good. It's just what it is as far as volunteers, and then somebody's got a baton. We're just passing it from person to another person and handing it off. And as long as we keep moving that forward, we'll get the momentum down. We'll get good flow and better interactions with individuals.
And I should going forward, starting this week, have a bit more free time because I may be starting a new job in a couple weeks. So
Congrats.
well, we'll see.
Okay.
It's still.
All right.
I just had my big interview about an hour ago.
Oh, congrats. That's good. That's moving forward. Yeah, I have not yet gotten to that part yet. I mean, I had some interviews, but nothing going to that direction. I think I need to get more. It seems like a numbers game, which is unfortunate, but that's the law of probability there. So
Yeah, I totally.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I came this close to quitting my job today, and then I had another interview today. So
Okay.
it's been a day.
It's been a day. Just that hostile environment, huh? Sorry to
Therefore,
hear.
I'm just wearing my hat.
Good. I didn't. This wasn't planned. This just like nice hat, Chris. And he said, yeah. And you brought your hat. I was like, well, I would just feel wrong not participating. So let's do it.
Exactly. Demo hats.
Brings up a morale. Let's see. What am I working on? On the website portion, not so much. I think I'm playing a lot more of the Scrum Master portion. I think we're self-organizing, and I'm not playing much of the product owner role in that regards because that's not my expertise. And I think as the three of us, you both are doing a very, really, really good job prioritizing what should go first, what dependencies are, and you're in the thick of things. And I'm just very I'm very grateful that to be part of it, to learn that already, even from an outside view. So it's really fulfilling my mental needs right now. Thank you. Blocks. There was some blocks, not on the technical side, but on the other Wikispeed side, and I'll bring that up save that up for StandUp tomorrow, and that's mainly what that is. So we'll figure that out, and most of it has already been removed, so that would be good. Although I do foresee some future impediments. So what happened was that there were some items that I saw Joe's wife wanted for the dojo, and Joe mentioned, like those are like really high priority items, because if you don't get those and you work on something else and deprioritize that, like that makes it hard for Wikispeed and for Joe to have this working in Linwood. Like, yes, that makes sense. It's good. Happy life, right? And Gunnar and I, we figured out which items we needed to do, and we emailed and contacted ISO. I'm like, do these fit your requirements? Are these the ones? Some of them yes, some of them were no. She proposed other ones. Great, we ordered it. They're coming. And then there was another team member, Mary Michael, that mentioned like, oh wait, I thought that was something that I was supposed to do. Like, really? I didn't know that fell in that criteria. So, okay, but it was such a big deal that it needed to be addressed. So, looks like we'll need to be discussing more of what that looks like. Although the dependency is that anything that we need to change, move, or allocate or set up. It sounds like she wants her input and also her product owner side, so that could be a dependency, like that, an extra added step. My recommendation was that we, during the planning phase, if something that needs to happen, then let's go ahead and work that out in the planning phase already before we start doing, because once we're doing, we shouldn't be planning at the same time. That slows down efficiency. and velocity. It also reminds me of that anecdote that Joe forever will tell. I think sometimes in his classes is the John Deere anecdote. I think Chris, you've heard of that one, where Joe goes in to consult for John Deere, and he just wants to hang a whiteboard. He really does. He's like, I just want to hang a whiteboard. Like, okay, we'll go call down to maintenance, and we'll see if they have a whiteboard, and what size do you want, what length, and then when he was like, no, I saw some downstairs in storage. Just go grab one of those and then hang it. It's like, oh no, we can't do that. We gotta wait for approval, and then we gotta wait for the specialized people to come in and take some of these very old, almost antique paintings off the wall carefully and place them. So how long is that all gonna take? Let's see, another week for that. So probably about 3-4 weeks to hang a whiteboard. Okay. So Joe said, nope, follow me. So he went downstairs and grabbed the whiteboard and was like, here, you grab that in, we're going to take this upstairs. And they hung it. Like, okay. Sometimes it's true. Individuals and interactions over processes and tools. Yeah. So
Always true.
very, right? Something I was just reminding myself about, because early this week also, a recruiter reached out again and said, hey, I found this job posting. It sounds like you fit these criteria. And I was reading through it, except a lot of the job postings, I'm noticing that they talk a lot about what they need and why, or what they need and how they need it, which skill sets and whatnot, but they're not really talking about why. I mean, I want and kind of wish that companies would post a little bit more about what this role is, or how their company culture is, and why they're doing what they're doing, almost like a mission statement. Like, makes me want to work there. I want to be part of that. If it's not, but I'm going to be in this role doing X, Y, Z, and I have these skill sets that meets this. Like, this is the how and this is the what. But in a way, it's not really. It doesn't invoke the person to want to work there, and that's disappointing. So we're trying to build that and also train other people in that regards of what Agile and the Scrum framework is. So I think in a way we need to exude that in everything that we're doing. And so if there is something like that, as a really, really passionate Scrum Master for Wikispeed, I'm going to call it out. I'm going to call it like that's a problem. I don't know if it's not going to work, but it's a problem. And we'll need to address that. As a team, we'll figure it out. Maybe we have to vote for what needs to be done, like holacracy, which was interesting, but we'll need to figure it out.
Well, no, and that's the whole thing too. Is we need to exuberate the whole team, the whole team persona.
Yeah. Excellent.
And I think that's great that you're calling that out.
And we'll figure it out.
I would agree with you.
Because I mean, there's a big reason that I almost quit my job today was because there is no team mentality whatsoever going on where I'm working. So I love the fact that we're a nice loosely based team right here, and we're getting along a lot better than a lot of other teams do.
True.
And we all wear hats.
And yes, during stand-up, it's amazing. It's like having the what is it, the speaking totem or whatever it's called. Oh, awesome. Well, that is it for me. Is there anything else that we'd like to discuss?
I'll just follow up on what you were saying.
No, just I'll
go ahead, Lee.
I'll go for it.
Chris, go ahead.
Go.
Okay. I just to kind of follow up on what you were saying, because I'm also in the boat of looking for a new gig right now, and I find that there are very, very, very few jobs, especially posted on online forums, that have any kind of agile mindset. And unfortunately, I even see this in my area on Scrum-related jobs, where, like you're saying, it's very XYZ. This is what we need you to know. This is what we expect you to do exactly, and that's clearly not taking into the agile mindset. The fact they do not mention their goals. What are your goals? I think all of us are kind of in this boat. It's why we're a part of Wikispeed, because we want to feel like what we're doing matters and has a purpose. And when it matters and has a purpose, we can do amazing things and do these awesome things. So I just wanted to add that to what you were saying. I may have an offline conversation with you about, as Scrum Master, how to deal with um, the product owner vision not aligning with the customer vision, which I think is the fastest way to kind of explain or summarize what you were discussing with some of the backlog there.
Mm. Thank you, Chris. Lee, go ahead.
I had a question because in my little job search that I've been doing, a couple of the jobs that I've come across, and this just it just reminded me of something that Joe was mentioning during the CSM training, was that when you are a Scrum Master, you are product owner for one product. And a couple of the positions that I've come across are saying that you are going to be the Scrum Master for like 2, 3, 4 different products. That doesn't seem like an align with what Joe was saying. Do you guys have any ideas on that?
I think so. Let me see if I understand you correctly, though. You're saying that
Yeah.
a Scrum Master is a Scrum Master for one team, not a product owner. You mean a Scrum Master is for?
Well, you're basically, yeah, you're like in charge of the one project that you're working on to get from beginning to end. But a few of these positions that I've come across are saying that you are going to be the product owner for multiple products, which seems to be kind of against what Joe was training us in.
Gotcha. Uh, the industry is still looking for people who can do a lot of things. That's just what they are. They want somebody who's a jack of all trades, but then really strong in one specific whatever role and area that they're doing, which really tells me that the industry or these job postings, they don't have any idea what they're looking for. Like, great, you just threw out some agile and tech and scrum words in there, and like makes it look nice and pretty. Do you have any? Did you read the Agile Manifesto? And it's interesting because
Exactly. That's what.
even one of my recruiters, doesn't know what the Agile Manifesto is. Okay, here's the link. Here's the things. Please know the industries that you're recruiting for, because everybody uses technology, and it's important if you want to recruit for tech firms. And what Joe was saying is that a really good Scrum Master can be on multiple teams and help facilitate the events and remove impediments. A really, really masterful Scrum Master, like really worth their weight, is dedicated to one team. Just as one a product owner can be really, really awesome and mind blowing in the one product, in the one category. They can have a lot of projects,
Right.
which is unfortunately because then you have a lot of things that you're in queue and in charge of. And that's the problem, is that people are like, well, we have multiple projects we need to work on. Like, well, great. If those somehow are interrelated, then perhaps having one team dedicate to all those projects would be great, and then prioritize those projects, not necessarily have them all working at the same time. Well, we need them all working at the same time. Like, that could be a problem, is that you think everything's a priority, and then nothing gets done.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's that. That was just kind of what I was wondering about. Was
It's an issue with people still thinking that multitasking is better. That people still thinking multitasking is better. So again, what William was saying is most, you're right. A lot of the job postings say you may be a Scrum Master for 4 up to 8 teams. But what happens is a really good Scrum Master is great on one team because they're dedicated 100% of the time to removing blocks, coaching the framework for that one team.
exactly.
But when you're split up, if you're basically creating a bottleneck, and you're the block now, because now you're meeting with this team for their impediment while this team over here has an impediment. Something similar does happen with product owners when they try to put them in charge of multiple teams, and they're not available to answer questions and clarify the vision and things like that. Unfortunately, that's the landscape of the jobs that are there. It's one of those things where there needs to be more coaching and training of leadership and getting that buy-in, that it works better this way. The data is in, it's been studied, there's a lot of empirical data on it. One Scrum Master, one product owner per team. but you are
Right,
correct.
and that's pretty much what I understood that you were saying was that. Yeah, I wanted to pick your guys' brain about that because I was looking at that and like looking at all these, or job descriptions saying like you're going to be the scrum master, but you're going to be scrum master for like 5 different teams, and it's kind of like, well, that doesn't make any sense because that is a huge roadblock right there.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Sometimes in a situation like that, if you're looking for a scrum job, you might take that opportunity and deal with it as best you can, but use it as an opportunity to be the person who brings this realization to the organization and show them. I mean, you're as a scrum master, you're a change agent, right? Your whole goal there's
Right.
that's one of the things that
Great
is
point.
one of the main blocks that we're up against. So get in there, do do what you can. If the organization is absolutely against the idea, then do what you're doing now and keep looking for the next better opportunity.
No, that's a great point.
yes, that is perfect. I think the hats make a difference.
Tip of the hat.
Truly. Alrighty. That sounds great. Are there anything else?
I will mention real quick. I actually have to.
No, but I
get out of
guess
here.
tomorrow's Thursday night, so that's our meeting.
Yep, it is. What was that, Chris? You had something you need to share?
I actually have to get out of here, but I will mention real quick. I've run into this one other time. I'll double check when we get off. The update may at this point be permanently stuck on the briefly unavailable screen. I've only had to deal with this one other time. I'll log into the web server. There's a file called like maintenance mode that you delete, and it's in back being visible. So I'll check that tonight and get that taken care of. I just wanted to mention that because I've only ever hit that block one other time.
Okay, sounds good. And I've left the update plugins in the doing column, so we're good on that. I put in some notes for the backup site card that's in Verify, and mainly that card just reads, the backups are about a gig in size. You mentioned we'll need to address that in the future. Test the clone and migrate feature in the future, and then I think you mentioned the updraft, plugin makes or features a database cleaning tool.
Awesome.
Alrighty, okay. You've got to go. I've got to go, and Lee, I think we're all
And then
just gonna.
Chris, I'll go ahead and send you guys both those recommendations that my WordPress, so you can see those.
Yes, please.
Okay. I'll put a small card up for that, and I'll put it in doing. How about that, Lee?
Perfect.
All right. Well, thank you both, and we'll see you tomorrow and talk to you tomorrow.
Absolutely. Y'all have a good night.
You too. Take care.